The other thing that Promise Scholars are required to do is maintain satisfactory academic progress. So that means that West Shore, you have to receive a 2.0, and this is a federal financial aid rule as well. So if you're receiving financial aid, this is true too. And complete 67% of all attempted classes. So that's in your entire academic career. So for example, if you were taking 12 credits and you dropped 3, that would mean that if you pass all of those remaining credits, so the 9 credits remaining, you'd have completed 75% of your attempted classes. So you just want to make sure that if you withdraw from a class or if you get a grade that isn't considered passing for that class, and for financial aid, passing is usually a D- or higher, then you want to make sure that either you're making up that class the next semester, or you've got a plan in place that you won't be dropping any more, withdrawing from any more classes. So that's a good thing to always talk to financial aid and an advisor about if you have any questions about that. And then I mentioned that you will need to renew after your winter grades post at masoncountypromise.org. There are a few other pieces that it's a really good idea to make sure that you have in place before you start school. So for most students at this point, you've completed orientation and registered for credits. You want to make sure, again, 9 credits or more. You've also completed your financial aid requirements so that your FAFSA is completed and all your documentation or documents on campus are done as well. Make sure, and this is, this needs to be said, you want to make sure that you have a plan for a consistent place to live and transportation to and from class, because we do run into situations where students couldn't make it to class because their car broke down. So you always want to have a plan B for transportation. And working is another piece that it's important to have everything in place for. So if you're planning on working, we encourage working. It's a really good idea to have a job as a student. Try to plan reasonable hours for yourself if you can. The rule of thumb for college students who are full-time is that you want to, if you can, try to work fewer than 20 hours a week, because that will allow you enough time to be a full-time student and meet your study requirements outside of class. The other piece of it is you want to work with your employer before your class schedule starts to eliminate any scheduling conflicts. If your employer isn't willing to work around your class schedule, then work with your advisor and see if you can make any last-minute changes. But if you're working on your career, we really encourage you to put the priority on your classes and your class schedule. Check your West Shore email and Canvas for last-minute updates about your classes, class locations before the first day of school on August 31st, and even throughout that first week, because a lot of classes are being converted to online right now. But even in any given semester, when there's not a coronavirus pandemic happening, there are last-minute changes to locations, etc. So be sure to check that on Canvas. You also want to make sure that you make a plan to buy your books no later than the end of the first week of class. All of West Shore's books are purchased through their website or ordered online. There is no physical place where you can buy the textbooks for classes at West Shore, so you want to make a plan to order earlier rather than later if you can. The Promise Scholarship does not support, we do not pay for book purchases, so that would be something you could take care of with any additional financial aid that you have in the form of scholarships or of loans or self-pay. A lot of faculty do they do open education resources too, so hopefully you won't have too much in cost for books. But if you're in the health sciences or the sciences, you can plan on books being anywhere from $200 upwards for a given semester. Check the academic calendar for breaks, and if you have any appointments, you want to make sure, like dentist appointment, doctor's appointments, you want to schedule those outside of your class time, because those are the kinds of things that professors don't excuse for. They expect you to plan around your course schedule. So it's a little different than high school in that respect. Also, there is a campus calendar, and you want to make sure with your campus calendar, it's different than the academic calendar. That's the fun stuff that's happening on campus. So make a plan to get involved if you have that luxury. There's always things going on campus, although this semester might be a little lighter than normal. Hopefully by winter semester, everything will be back to normal. The promise also encourages all students to either use their phone or a paper planner to put their class schedule in, assignments in, and you can look on your syllabus. Most syllabi contain all of the assignments for a given semester. And we also encourage you to use your planner to set up a study schedule. The rule of thumb for a study schedule is about 2 hours outside of class for every credit hour you have. So if you have a 2-credit class, you want to plan 4 hours during a given week to dedicate to learning for that class, doing the homework, etc. That's a little bit different than high school as well, because most of the learning in high school takes place in the classroom, where in college, the majority of the learning is on you as a student outside of class. And then read your syllabi early and often. Make sure that you keep that on hand, keep it close. Don't just file it away in the first week of the semester, because you want to make sure that you have it to refer to. Any questions?